Hi there. I've been asked to record a video of the processing I did to Milky Way photograph taken in Greece last year. I'm just going to open the photograph now in Photoshop. Now I'm going to ignore camera raw and just open the image as it is. This is the original image. This is 30-second exposure with a Canon 6D at ISO 1600. First thing you'll notice is that the horizon, the sea horizon, is very badly off. My excuse for this was 2 o'clock in the morning up a mountain road and very dark. I'm just going to use the crop tool to fix the horizon before I start anything else. Okay, I'm going to duplicate the background and work on the duplicate. That way we can switch it on and off and see the changes. It's something I normally do anyway. The main tool we're going to use is the curves tool. So I'll create a curves adjustment. You'll notice that the black area spike here is the foreground, which is very dark in places. The other is the sky. You'll also notice that there has been a little bit of light added to the photograph. That was with a torch during the image capture. First thing in the curves, I'm going to refresh this so that the curve is a representation of exactly what we've got at the moment. I'm going to pick the dropper tool, this one, and select an area of the sky where I'm going to anchor it, the level of it, without adjusting it. I'm going to now select an area, a brighter area that I want to bring up. So you'll now see 2 points on the curve. The lower one is anchoring the sky and the upper one is the one I'm going to drag up. And if you watch the image as we drag it up, you'll see that the Milky Way pops up a bit better. You'll see that the next adjustment I did was for the upper portion of the photograph, which is still fairly dull. I did this by using a lasso tool to create a selection and just selected the area I want to further enhance. With the selection, I modify this by feathering the selection. It's a fairly high resolution photograph, so 150 pixels or thereabouts is fine. Now another curves adjustment. Again, a refresh, pick tool, select the area of the sky that's going to be anchored and not moved, and an area of the nebula or the Milky Way that is going to be brought up a little bit further. If I now drag the upper point, you can see that we're getting a bit more detail further up. So I'm happy with that. If you've done this a little bit too far, which in some I may have done a little bit, you can reduce the opacity of that a little bit. Yeah, I'm happier with that. We could further try to enhance the very dark area at the top. Again, select modify feather. Okay. Further curves adjustment here, anchoring a point and selecting a brighter area and trying to bring that up a little bit more. That's about as far as we can push it, I think. There were a couple of other things I did during the demonstration. I think if we select the areas we have, I'm just holding the shift key and selecting those, merge those. I can't find it. Merge layers. If I switch this on and off, you'll see that the Milky Way pops out a lot more now from the photograph than it did from the original raw. I think a couple of other things that I did was there's a blue spotlight that I quite liked on the thing, on the hill there, so I selected the blues and actually brought up the colour of it slightly. happy with that. And merge these layers again. I have a set of actions for Photoshop. They're Noel Carboni's astronomy tools. I have version 1.6. They're a very inexpensive set of tools and excellent. I often use the increased star color. Stretching an image can often reduce the color of the stars as you're stretching the brighter areas. So to put it back again, or as it should be, I'm going to hit that action, increase the star color. Yeah, I'm happy with that, and I think you can see that the stars have come up a lot more colourful. I think the other thing that I have a separate video, a separate demo on how to selectively sharpen, but I actually during the demonstration did that on this image a little bit as well, so I'll very quickly do that again, but by all means watch the other video. In order to do that, I duplicate this layer, apply a filter, other, high pass filter. I move the slider until it shows the areas that I want to enhance, which are just little parts of the Milky Way core there. That's fine. We change the blending mode to overlay. Now that sharpens the whole photograph, which I don't want. I just want to selectively sharpen the dust lanes in the Milky Way. So I layer mask, hide all. Again, the previous video shows this probably better. Select a brush, white, opacity and flow of about 50%. Make sure that the mask is selected, and then paint white onto the mask to reveal the sharpening of that. I'm not going to go very far with this, but this is to show what I demonstrated at the talk. Alright, if I switch it on and off, you should see that sharpening popping up. It's subtle in this image, but I don't want to go too far with it. Okay. Merge those layers again. And we can switch off and on all the adjustments we've made to make the Milky Way pop up. Possibly another final enhancement to the contrast. I'll bring that back at the base. Switch that on and off. Yep. Okay, I'm happy with that. It's just a question of flatten and save. Hope that's been of help. Look forward to giving more talks to you again in the future.